Welcome to Around the Valley. Today is August 21st, 2012. We have special guest Linda Vung from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, and she is a mentoring volunteer coordinator. And as always with me, I have my two co-hosts, Lucia Flores and Art Landing. Lucia Flores hosts Rock and Roll Us on Mid-Valley News. Art Landing represents Kiwanis from the Rosemead, California. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, trying to beat the heat.
What about you, Art?
We have been very, very busy. We have our September calendar coming up on the website here at the end of the week, and we found that when you print it out, it takes 13 pages, so you can get an idea of how much is going on.
That's great. Yeah, one of the things, Linda, that Art does is he manages a database of information of events in the San Gabriel Valley, specifically Rosemead,
Awesome.
And he does a great job with that. So, Linda, thank you for joining us today. Some people don't know about the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, and for the people, maybe you can fill them in.
Well, the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps started 8 years ago, starting with a man named Daniel Oaxaca, and he actually was passionate about giving back to the community. He used to come from the same background as a lot of our youth. Our youth are disadvantaged, and they also live in the San Gabriel Valley. So, the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps services at-risk and high-risk youth around the San Gabriel Valley.
That's great. And you guys do a lot of different things. I see you all over the valley, which is appropriate for around the valley. I've seen the SGVCC, as they're commonly called, at Farmworks, which is an organic farm in South El Monte. I've been involved with the SGVCC at events with Amigos de los Rios, and also the California Conservation Corps celebrated, I believe, its 35th anniversary at Madrid Intermediate or Elementary in El Monte, and the SGVCC was there helping with recycling. You guys do a lot of recycling, correct?
We do a lot of recycling. We have several programs within the SGVCC, so we do recycling. We also have a mentoring program, which I run. There's also, we also partner with the Youth Build Charter School of California, so our youth are also in academics as well.
Okay.
I'd like to ask one question, if I could. You mentioned the California Conservation Corps. Is it directly connected to the San Gabriel Corps? Because I know it's been around for, decades. Are you connected with them officially, or is that just a similarity in name?
It's just a similarity in name.
Yeah, one of the differences I learned about actually with the California Conservation Corps celebrated its 35th anniversary was that is a state agency, and that's why actually those kids, they look almost like park rangers when you see their uniforms. And San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps is a local nonprofit.
Right.
And you just in this area, and your uniform was kind of a blue T-shirt, right? A lot of the kids wear blue T-shirts.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I do want to hear about the volunteer and mentoring, but before we get into that, I just also wanted to say that, Pio Pico State Park is a place I volunteer, and you guys did a recycling thing there.
Definitely.
And what about Lucia and Art? Have you seen the SGVCC roaming around at all?
I do not recall seeing them specifically, but obviously the efforts that they have been putting out are apparent in many of the things that are going on, as you've mentioned.
I have seen them in and around El Monte. I have seen the kids with the blue shirts, so I'm guessing I have seen them before.
Mm-hmm. We also have bins around. If you look around at different, say, festivals or events, you'll see our blue bins, and we also have black bins as well.
What are the blue bins? Blue bins are recycles like cans and stuff, and black bins are...
It's the same thing. It's just a different color. They're mostly blue, though.
Oh, okay. Because I also know you guys do, sometimes you do safe waste disposal, right? I think at Longo Toyota's Earth Day conference, I think SGVCC was there helping with taking away old computers and batteries.
Yes. So e-cycle waste.
Got it. So, back to you. We have the woman, Linda Vung, who leads the mentoring and volunteering section of the SGVCC.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
This is actually a new program that we received. We got funding for it in January, so it's a fairly new program. However, right now, what we're doing is focusing on building up our volunteer database, which consists of positive adult role models to mentor our youth and young adults. So we service 16 to 24-year-olds, and we realized that it's important to have a positive adult role model that you can look to for support and guidance. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for mentors for our youth.
Oh, great. So what kind of qualifications are you looking for? If someone's interested in volunteering, how can they get in contact with you?
They have to be at least 21 years or older. They also, someone who is caring, who's willing to listen, someone who's not trying to change the individual, but to help guide and support them in their future goals. And if you want to be a volunteer or a mentor, you can reach me at lvung, so it's LV as in Victor, OONG at SGVCC.org. And we'll also have that information on our website.
Great, and I'll include that online. So do you want to tell us some stories maybe about things that have happened with the SGVCC that you think people should know about? Maybe some specific examples of mentoring or volunteering?
Mm-hmm. Well, recently we did a dragon boat race last Saturday. It was at Whittier Narrows at Leg Lake. And what it was the SGVCC as well as other teams, we actually rowed in a dragon boat race. So we actually won first place, which is pretty cool, in the public service division. So that was pretty awesome. That was a big success for us.
I read about it in the paper, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I think was it the second time they did that? Or the
I believe that was the first one there.
Oh, okay.
In the LA region.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I saw the pictures, and they look like fun. So.
No, it was extremely fun.
Who sponsored that?
It was Dr. Howard Chen, and the Parks and Recs also helped with the site and things like that.
Oh, okay. You know, last week we had the Menudo Run, the Latino Peace Officers Association, and he was telling us about their event that was actually also happening at Whittier Narrows, I think on that same Saturday.
Really?
Did you see them?
I did not.
Actually, I think it's this Saturday.
Oh, is it this Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the 25th, right?
Oh,
yeah,
great.
I think the Menudo Run's this Saturday.
Oh, that's good. Art, you were going to say something?
I was just curious as to where you obtain your people that you are mentoring. You say from 16 to 24, so that means you're covering both high school and post-high school people. And I'm wondering, do these come to you by referrals, or how do you determine who it is that you're doing?
Okay, the participants that we serve, they come from referrals from courts as well as from different schools. Because we're partnered with a charter school, all of our participants go through the education component, and then they get filtered up into different programs, say the mentoring program, and this is all on a volunteer basis, so they volunteer to be in the mentoring program. As for the mentors that we're looking towards outside in the community, so we're looking for, say, college students or business owners and just people who have a passion for working with youth and young adults.
What about the church youth organizations that reach out to the community, like Evergreen Baptist? They have an entire cadre of people who are working with the underprivileged and whatever in Rosemead.
Right, we're looking towards that area. Right now, the struggles that we have is not a lot of individuals want to work with our type of population. However, like when I started as a volunteer, and it's just amazing what you learn from these individuals. They don't realize.
You might be surprised. Sean and I are familiar with the people of the Asia Youth Foundation over in San Gabriel, which, by the way, is now becoming a member of the Rosemead Kiwanis Club as well as Rosemead Connections.
Oh, wow, that's great.
But Roy Roselle is officially going to be their representative, and we had their chief executive officer on the program here a few weeks ago. And they reach out and they work with young people all the time. That is their area of focus. So this is something they might be very
Michelle,
helping you with.
Definitely.
Michelle Furridge, we can put you in contact with her. She's a great humanitarian, I would say, and Asian Youth Center. Yeah, the Asian Youth Center. They really do a lot of work and a lot of programs. And one of the things we always try to do on this show is just promote, working together, people working together, organizations working together. And we're really trying to build infrastructure for that, and so many, cities lack that or are working towards it in a degree that maybe, no one wants to remake the wheel. So if something's been done in another city, it's nice to learn about that.
Right.
Another organization that you have is the Asia Pacific Clinic in Rosemead, which does many, many things in this area. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman who is one of the heads of it is the father of the president of our Key Club at Rosemead High School, as it turns out.
Oh, wow.
And Wenli Jen, who has been a guest here on the program, is responsible for the Youth Summit at Rosemead.
Yeah, Dr. Wenli Jen. And speaking of, I think...
That's another person that we definitely want to put you in contact with.
Definitely.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, Linda, where did we meet?
At the Youth Summit.
At the Youth Summit.
Yes,
exactly.
we did.
That's what I thought. And Rosemead Kiwanis was there, and you were there, and
Right.
it all comes full circle. Lucia, what are you thinking about?
That's pretty cool, because you see like all these organizations and how they help the community. It's a really good thing because we're all helping out the youth, the community, and then when they grow up, they have, how you said, they have you guys have mentor programs. They're going to be more prepared in the future.
And I think, like you mentioned, it's difficult to find volunteers to work with your population, and that's too bad because the experience I've had with, kids that participating in the SGVCC program have been really positive.
Right.
And it's like you said, it's unexpected how great these guys are, and it's only unexpected because of our own prejudice, which is unfortunate.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the Youth Summit for a minute. When did that take place? That was March?
It's in February.
It was in February. And for those people who don't know, it was a summit for the youth of the San Gabriel Valley where, kids got to come on a Saturday and learn how to do writing a resume, learn how to be a rock star, and they had resources such as the SGVCC. And what was your role there that day?
We actually put up a booth because a lot of the youth, we recognize that a lot of individuals have connections with other individuals that may need our services. So they're very much connected with their cousins or their brothers and sisters that may need what we have.
Yeah, and sometimes it seems like such a simple idea, but just connecting resources with need is difficult. It's very difficult. And sometimes, even with the newspaper, I go to people and I say, hey, I want to write something about you. I want to get you publicity. You're doing something great.
Right.
And it turns into so much work, when you wouldn't think it would be. And I'm sure you run into those kind of problems where you find a need, you have the resource, but getting someone to take it or use it sometimes can be difficult. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to give some local news. And we will be back with Linda Vung from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps.
San Gabriel Events brought to you by Mid-Valley News. The National Latino Peace Officers Association will be having their Menudo Run. The 29th annual Al Rivera Menudo Run 5K 10K Fun Walk will take place Saturday, August 25th at Whittier Narrows Lake Park, 823 Lexington Gallatin Road, South El Monte 91733. Exit Santa Anita South from the 60 freeway. Registration will be at 6:30 a.m. and the race will start at 8 o'clock a.m. The race, music, food, raffle, and fun will be available for all. To register, visit www.sgvchapter.com. That's www.sgvchapter.com. Proceeds will go towards scholarship funds for local students. To the Around the Valley, I'm Lucia Flores here along with my other co-hosts, Sean and Art. And our special guest today is Linda Vung from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps. She is a mentor volunteer coordinator. We'll talk a little bit about a mural unveiling, but first let's talk about San Gabriel Valley events.
Thanks, Lucia. Yeah, you guys have a mural unveiling coming up, and we're going to get to that. But we always like to just sit around and talk about interesting things that are happening in the San Gabriel Valley, because there are, and there are usually tons of them that go kind of underreported. The first thing I wanted to mention is I'm actually going to San Gabriel City Hall tonight, because San Gabriel, the city of San Gabriel, has a humane society. It's been there for 80 plus years, and through a series of complicated events, the city is trying to use Pasadena Humane Society instead. And so this happened 2 months ago originally, and I went to City Hall and there were, 50 people there angry, and so they said, okay, we'll wait 2 months and we'll review it. So I'm going to head back tonight. It should be pretty intense, and I don't know if you guys ever visit City Hall meetings, but they kind of fluctuate from extremely angry people to very quiet meetings. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing tonight. And on Saturday I'm going to the final concert in the Santa Anita racetrack, Santa Anita Park. It's called the Festival on the Green, and the theme this week is John Williams and Beethoven. So I'm really excited for that. It's always been this summer, every 2 weeks, it's been a great thing to do with just the stars and above you. You have a bottle of wine or cider or whatever you want, and just enjoy a full orchestra right here in our valley. A lot of people don't realize it's there, and that same orchestra plays in the Walt Disney Concert Hall. So it gives you the kind of idea of their quality. What about you, Art? What do you have going on?
Well, we're just getting ready to put up the calendar of events for September on the Rosemead Kiwanis org website. And this September is actually going to be fair month, it looks like, in Rosemead, because we have a job fair coming up on September 21st being put out by Career Partners. They're going to be teaching people how to compose their resumes, how to do job interviews better. They're going to have potential employers and whatever there. They do this as an annual event. That's going to be on the 21st. A few days later, there is going to be a college enrollment fair for high school students wanting to go to visit various colleges.
Where's that taking place?
That's going to be at Don Bosco.
What day and what time?
That's going to be on Tuesday, September the 25th, from 6 to 9 in the evening.
Tuesday. Okay, so people have about a month to prepare for that.
Yes, that's why I'm giving it to you now, because there's plenty of time to listen to the podcast and whatever. We're recording this in August, but it's going to be heard in September.
I've applied to college twice now, and I finally think I'm getting the hang of it.
I happen to know that Chantelis has a master's degree and is giving you
but that's what I mean. It's one of it's complicated, and it takes a few times to actually kind of understand of how you should present information. And
right.
Yeah, a lot of people are at a serious disadvantage and don't even realize it.
Sure. Well, in the enrollment fair, they're actually having this, because it's obviously a technological institution. Don Bosco is a high school. They are trying to recruit the students to come to their schools.
Right.
That's where the emphasis is. So it's really the colleges saying, here's why we are the college you should come to.
Yeah.
And they have scholarships. They have other various grants and whatever that are available if you've got the grades to qualify or the particular ethnic diversity or whatever they're looking for.
Yeah, and some things people forget is the Claremont colleges, I'll always plug them, not just because I went to one of them, but they're so close to us. And schools like Pomona, like Claremont McKenna, if you get in, they will guarantee that you have enough money to pay for your education.
Yeah, very good endowments out there.
Right, good endowments, and people forget that sometimes private schools, even though they cost more, have more money in their endowments to give to students.
You have USC, you've got Azusa Pacific, you've got Pepperdine, many of these.
Whittier College is a great school.
Exactly.
And anyway, what are you thinking, Lucia?
Yeah, I'm thinking right now, the adult school here in El Monte, the El Monte Rosemead Adult School, the one here in El Monte and the one in Rosemead, they're going to be having their new fall semester starting, I believe it's next week, August 27th. So if anyone's interested in taking any classes, they have computer classes, business classes. I believe Baldwin Park Adult School is also having their new semester coming up. So if anyone's interested in that, they can check out online and look up the adult schools because they also have good classes there.
And I think it's important to emphasize that adult education is just as important as, youth education. And because we all live in the same city, we're all dealing with the same problems. And if you don't give adults an opportunity to progress, to get jobs that they can support themselves with, to learn English, I know that's a big part of adult education. You're really not giving your own city a chance. And go ahead, Art.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just letting you go ahead. But the immediate past president of the adult school for El Monte Rosemead is also the immediate past president of the Chamber of Commerce, but he comes from there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, I was mentioning the job fair, the college enrollment fair. We got two more. This is fair month. We've got the art fair, which is going to be at the Rosemead Moose Lodge on September the 29th. It's going to be sponsored by the Savannah Cemetery as a fundraiser. And then actually in October, it's overlapping a little bit, but we're going to have the Fitness and Health Day over at the Garvey Community Center, and that is sponsored by an organization that started out with the martial arts. It's called The Joy of Kung Fu, but it is actually now branching into alternative therapies like chiropractic and acupuncture and things of that type. And last year it was so jammed there that if you got there after 10 in the morning, you could not find a parking place. So this is going to be very, very well attended.
And what is it? It's a health fair?
It is called a Fitness and Health Day. It is sponsored by the Garvey at the Garvey Community Center by the city of Rosemead.
But what is it? You go and you learn about how to be healthy, or
they have booths, they have exhibits, they have places that you can actually work out and do various things. A complete variety. It's like a fairground. You got activities, you got booths. You decide what you want to do.
Okay, I think that's great, and it always amazes me to learn what I don't know. And that's what these things are good for. When Rosemead had their National Night Out, I learned about a service called 211. I'd never heard about that before. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
All right. None of us except Art. Art, do you want to tell us what 211 is?
I believe that this is the information service for these LA County. Am I correct?
Exactly.
They've got a speaker from them, and they have their headquarters for all of LA County up on Las Tunas, by the way, in San Gabriel.
Oh, I did not know that.
Wow.
But we had one of their speakers come down, and they basically are a database for non-emergency services. So you don't have to call 911 because you have lost your way and are at Las Tunas and Santa Anita and you're trying to get to the racetrack. You can call up on your 211 call and they'll locate where you're supposed to go, or if you need to be referred to the local Social Security office because your check hasn't shown up. These are the kind of problems that are distress calls, but they're not emergencies.
Right.
And this information database is supposed to be able to address just about anything that people would need in that area.
Yeah, exactly. A good example of something you don't know that you don't know, and why it's a good idea to go to these resource fairs or health fairs. And just speaking real quickly an aside, New York City did something interesting, 5 years ago, where they had a number, I forget what it was, 611 or something like that, where if you had any issue in the city that was affecting your quality of life, you call that number and they'll take care of it for you. And what a great idea, right? Your neighbor's driving you nuts, the trash guy's too loud. There's so many issues that affect our quality of life, and to have one place to go with, and even just to be heard. Sometimes I think it's important just to be heard.
Right.
But going back to, before we get to your mural, what have you been doing in the San Gabriel Valley?
Because we partner with a lot of organizations, we actually have done recycling. We just started to recycle at Rio Hondo, I believe. Rio Hondo College. We also just finished recycling with elementary schools, 3 elementary schools, I believe in Baldwin Park. It was like somewhat of a competition for recycling for the students there. We've also started a farmer's market at our organic farm in South El Monte. So that is fairly new. However, we're trying to get the community to be engaged in and educated about organic foods and things like that, and which goes back to health and how important our health is.
Yeah, I think it's hard work, and it's good work and important work. I mean, even just speaking about the organic farm, learning about that really was amazing to me. I didn't know much about it when I got there. It was so large. It was behind a community garden, so that's already inspiring. And like you said, it deals with health. Health in El Monte has been a huge topic lately. The sugar tax on the ballot in November has been a big issue. Obesity has been an issue dealing with the sugar tax, but also deals with organic food. And one of the things people forget sometimes is when you have less money, you buy the least expensive food, which usually is it's the most unhealthy food.
Right.
And so, it just puts people with less money at a disadvantage, and also leads to people who have less money having higher rates of diabetes, and even children with diabetes now, which is really, really sad. But this is something we should have talked about earlier. You mentioned Baldwin Park and you mentioned all these different cities. The San Gabriel Valley, to you, what does that encompass? What is your region? How far do you go east? And
we go quite far, even to the Pomona area. I know we sometimes take recycling events outside of the San Gabriel Valley. However, we're trying to stay more in the San Gabriel Valley, so it gives more of we're giving back to our own community.
Yeah.
Versus we do want to help other communities. However, we need to take care of our own communities before we can take care of others.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that's great that it seems like you're doing is you're building leaders from our community for our community. You mentioned you're from El Monte yourself.
I'm actually from Rosemead. However, my heart has always been in the area. So.
Well, San Gabriel Valley, right?
Yes, definitely.
Rosemead, El Monte. You're not from Boston.
No.
Nothing against Boston.
No. But yeah, that's why I wanted to work in the San Gabriel Valley. I wanted to give back to my community and versus going out to some other community first.
No, I think that's great. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about your mural unveiling. This is Around the Valley. It's August 21st, 2012. We have Linda Long from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And we're back on KMVR with Linda Bong, our guest from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, Sean Tellis, and of course our host of Rock and Rollists from Baldwin Park. And you were talking about all the various things you were doing with your mural and with your job fairs and with the employment training that you're doing. I think we need to get into that now, right?
Definitely.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about this mural that Sean is apparently ecstatic over, and I will have to admit it does look very nice.
I can't help it, like art.
So we've recognized that a lot of our youth are actually very artistically talented. However, in their past, they haven't really focused it more on positive types of art. So what we were able to do this summer was we were able to get a grant.
Okay.
So we can work with local artists as well as our youth to create a mural. So our mural unveiling will be this Saturday, the 25th, from 10 to 1, and it's free. It's open to the public.
Where is this mural located?
It is located off of Lerma Road at our organic farm in South Omani. It will be a mural unveiling as well as a fundraiser because we're trying to raise funds for an art program as well as mentoring activities.
Are you familiar with the work that the Devine Foundation has been doing throughout the San Gabriel Valley?
No.
This is an organization that sponsors all sorts of art activities. They have the La Puente Art Walk. They have been involved with an organization that tried to make a vacant lot down near the freeway look nice at the entrance to it. What was the name of that organization that did that?
Oh, the South Omani Arts Posse?
Yes, South Omani Arts Posse. However, they are a coordinating group for all sorts of art organizations. They've done events in San Gabriel, South Pasadena.
Oh, right. We also, that's the, there's the New Vein Foundation that's based in El Monte, and they do a lot of things with arts and whatnot. They recently they were in charge of like the La Puente Art Walk, which I think took place last Saturday.
Correct.
But they're also tied to, it's like a literary arts council. We'll send you some information. We'll put some information online about it. The interesting art happenings in the San Gabriel and El Monte area.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So this mural, I am excited about it. We actually put it on the front page. Well, not the mural itself, but the mural in process or in progress. We put it on the front page of the Mid-Valley News. And can you tell us a little bit about who's involved artistically or what the images will be, or are you going to wait for the unveiling for that?
We are actually going to wait for the unveiling for that. Just know that it deals with the environment and having people aware of how we are negatively impacting our own communities and our world itself. So
got it. I just heard someone recently say to stop global warming, we should just turn the AC and open the door. So I'm promoting that.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That's what I do at home. I think everyone should be on board with that.
No. I don't think it would work. All right. Well, we'll definitely stay tuned to that for the mural because I think it's a great topic. And speaking of the environment, one of the things that ties into your organic farm is just the history of farming in the San Gabriel Valley and the soil that we have here. Some people forget is the best that there is.
Right.
And, that is why we had grapevines and orange groves and all these different things that have since disappeared, except some of the names have stuck around. But so it's wonderful to see an organic farm using the soil that historically has been dubbed, kind of the best around. What else do you have going on? You wanted to mention a few other things that your program's doing?
You mentioned the employment training that you were doing.
Oh, definitely. Recently, in June, we had a couple graduate. So what we're focusing on right now is enrolling our individuals into college. So we have a transition coordinator that actually works with them to enroll into college and deal with the FAFSA and all that good stuff. And we also work with our youth to get prepared for jobs. So we do have a job skills training program where some of our individuals, they actually get to go on to do construction. So this summer, some of our participants have continued to do that. And we're waiting for our next batch of students, which will start in September. So we're really excited about that.
Okay, so we should have asked this earlier, but your program, is it a year program? Is it a multiple year program? Is it an age when they graduate from that program?
It's all of the above. So some of our participants, they're there for a year or two or sometimes more. The job skills training programs it goes on for a year. However, we also do follow up. So we try to help learn the skills in the trade so they can use that. So when they do find a job, they can utilize their skills for that.
And this is also a question we probably should have asked at the beginning, but how many kids are involved in your program?
Within the whole program, there's over 100 participants. We call them participants mainly because they're not kids. They're 16 to 24, so we do have young adults as well. So that's the type of population we service.
Are the participants, are they referred to your program? Or if someone's interested in your program, is there a website that they can go to get more information? Or?
Definitely. They can go to our website, www.sgvcorps.org. Mm-hmm. That's where we'll have information about the different programs we have. A lot of our participants, they are referred. Some of them they've had either family members graduate from the program or things like that. So it's pretty awesome how we've been recognized throughout the community.
How long have you guys been around?
For 8 years.
Oh, wow. And you already have kind of second generation people coming through?
Definitely.
Or I guess siblings or something, right?
Yes, siblings, that's cousins, cool. Family members, friends.
Nice. So when your friends ask you, what do you do? What do you tell them?
Tell them I love my job.
Nice.
For me, it doesn't feel like a job, really. Like, this is something I've always wanted to do.
Well, does anyone else have anything to add? I feel like it's just really great information. You're doing wonderful things.
And it's really good for the kids in the community, and it's a really wonderful service that you guys provide.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we could have some of the participants come be part of our show sometime.
Oh, they'll definitely love that. We actually have mentees I'm trying to build up as leaders, and they love to talk, so please, whenever you...
Yeah, let's do that. We'll definitely do that hopefully soon. I think it'd be great for us, hopefully them too. But
yes, so it's always important to hear the voices of the youth rather than the adults. So.
Yeah, I think so too. You have to hear all the perspectives to actually understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. Art, you seem like you're contemplating something.
I was looking at some things over here, but I wanted to be sure I had the details of them. I don't have from the papers yet, but they're talking about the various things that you can make available to young people and whatever. There are some services that are being made available. There's an organization up in Pasadena that is actually giving, believe it or not, free dental services to people who are in this demographic that she is talking about here. And many times, if you're going to be doing a job interview or something of this type, if you've got teeth that are defective and whatever, this is something that frankly affects the interview. So this is something to be worked at, and I was trying to look up the information on that to be able to give her a referral.
Okay, yeah, well, if you send the information to me, we'll definitely get it online, and we'll send it out. I think you're right. There's so many aspects. That reminds me, just recently I was talking to a partnership in El Monte that dealt with haircuts and job skills. Mm-hmm. A beauty salon or beauty school decided to partner with a job skill center to give that second piece, right, of kind of we'll fix you up and give you a good haircut so you can go to your job with the skills that you learned. Yeah, all right. So I guess it's about that time, huh? Are there any, other stories you'd like to share? Not necessarily what you do, but what has happened?
Well, I've actually worked really closely with some of the youth this summer, and they're also known as my youth panel mentoring committee. So I wanted to make sure that our youth took a leadership role within the mentoring program, and just seeing them show up every single day and putting their input on how they think the program should be, and just having a voice. I've realized that our youth, I didn't just realize this, but it's reaffirmed that our youth, they have so much potential, they have so much talent that people don't give them a chance to show. And I'm just amazed by the changes that I've seen. These individuals wouldn't have came on a Saturday to go and do recycling or to go to Relay for Life for a whole 24 hours.
Oh, you guys did a Relay for Life?
Yes, we did. And we also recycled there as well.
Which Relay for Life did you guys do?
Arcadia. Oh. However, next year we're planning to do that, the El Monte one. So So just seeing them come out on a Saturday, it's amazing. The changes that I've seen within them, it's so amazing. So I love what I do because of that, and they are the future, really. They're the leaders.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful way to end it. Well, thank you very much for all the work that you do, and we look forward to working with you more in the future. If people want to get in touch with you, do you want to give your email address or the website, the best way that people can get in contact with you to either volunteer to mentor or get involved in the program?
Yes, my email is lvoong@sgvcorps.org.
Great, and we'll just let everyone sign themselves off.
This is Lucia Flores, host of Rock and Rolla, signing off for Around the Valley.
Art Lanning for the Rosemead Kiwanis Club at the rosemeadkiwanis.org website, where the September events for Rosemead will be posted this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Linda Vung from the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, mentoring volunteer coordinator.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up and putting in some time to help Around the Valley become what it is. I think, Art and Lucia especially deserve credit for showing up every week, like we mentioned a second ago. We're all volunteers here, and I think it's wonderful to see us all, just have a great opportunity to talk about the wonderful things happening around the San Gabriel Valley. And that's why we call the show Around the Valley. And I'm Sean Tellis, and today's August 21st, 2012, and we'll see you next week.
I'll pick you up after school. Okay, I got it.
It's easy to take a day for granted. You and your family are connected by routine, and you stick to it. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if your day's routine is disrupted and you can't reach your family? Have you planned for that? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Ready.gov. This message brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.